welcome to our New York City Public Schools student-teacher information session. We'll jump right in. Before we do anything else, I want to just give an overview of the platform that we're using today. First and foremost, if you have any questions during the session, please use the question and answer function to make sure you're submitting your feedback, questions, ideas, and my colleague Sergio is in the chat to answer those questions. And at the end, we can share any key takeaways. You will receive a recording of the webinar after it's over. So if you miss anything, do not worry. We have all of the recordings on our website, and you will receive a link via email after the session. Throughout this session, I'll share links to key resources that you can access by using your camera on your smartphone to scan the QR code and open up that resource. Again, if you miss any of those resources, they will be available in the recording, and we'll make sure to link to key resources in the email that you receive tomorrow. I always want to highlight teachnyc.net is your key resource for all of your questions as you navigate your application and job search process. So definitely bookmark teachnyc.net. It has been recently redesigned to better answer your questions and support you. So we highly recommend checking that out. You subscribe to stay up to date with all of the events and opportunities that we offer. I am sharing the link to the subscribe form in the chat here. So please take a moment, click the link, subscribe to make sure you're getting our emails. It's the best way to make sure you're not missing out on any opportunities. Here is an overview of our agenda today. Our session today is for New York City Public Schools student teachers. So this info session has been designed just for you. We'll give an overview of New York City Public Schools. You're already familiar with us as student teachers. Just give a sense of what it's like to be a full-time teacher with us. We'll talk a bit about the student teacher program to make sure you're taking advantage of all of the opportunities that are available to you as student teachers. I'll talk a bit about the application process, and then we'll jump into the job search process, and we'll leave time for questions. Again, if you have questions throughout the session, make sure you're submitting them in the question and answer box on your screen. So as I said, we'll start with an overview of New York City Public Schools here. I'll give you a snapshot of the district and talk a little bit about the benefits that you can expect if you have your career here at New York City Public Schools. I'll give a sense of the supports and opportunities you can expect as a full-time teacher. I'll start by sharing this quote from our chancellor, Kamar Samuels. There's actually a typo here. Apologies for that. But here's the quote. As a lifelong educator who has served our system as a teacher, principal, and superintendent, and as the parent of 2 New York City Public School students, I know firsthand that our schools are the heart of our communities. I believe that our students from early childhood through graduation deserve schools that are safe, academically rigorous, and truly integrated. They should know that their children are learning the fundamentals, starting with reading, and are being challenged academically, guided by high expectations, strong instruction, and teachers who believe in them. I think it's really helpful to ground ourselves there in our chancellor's vision. When you join New York City Public Schools, you're joining the largest, most dynamic district in the nation. So we have over 900,000 students who speak over 180 languages. And as a teacher here, you'd be part of a network of over 77,000 fellow teachers. New York City educators really have a unique privilege and responsibility to jumpstart the next generation of leaders and citizens. Our students here in New York represent a wide range of backgrounds, identities, languages, learning needs, and they need teachers who reflect their diversity and are ready and able to support their learning. So whatever your background, experiences, skill sets may be, there are students in New York City Public Schools classrooms who are waiting for a teacher just like you. New York City has 1,600 schools that are as diverse as our students, from neighborhood schools with very deep roots in their local community to smaller thematic schools in the performing arts. There are schools with a focus in STEAM, humanities, dual language schools. So really, whatever your interest or passion may be, there is a school at New York City Public Schools for you. When you join, you can really choose a school that fits your teaching philosophy and engage with a community of professionals who are like-minded. Within our schools, our teachers build personal connections with students, colleagues, and families to support relationship building, strengthen learning outcomes for students, and we'll talk a little bit later about how you can find your fit and navigate the job search process in NYC to really find the place that's right for you. The New York State class size law, limiting class sizes, has really meant that there are more opportunities for educators in New York City. We're hiring thousands of additional teachers this year to ensure that our classrooms citywide are in compliance with this law. So it's really an exciting time to be looking for a position at New York City Public Schools. We're also always opening new schools. 5 new New York City Public Schools are opening in the Bronx and Queens. So there are always exciting new opportunities. So again, a very exciting time to apply. So who are we looking for? New York City Public Schools is dedicated to attracting and retaining the very best teachers for our schools. So we're looking for passionate, collaborative, committed teachers who, as I said, reflect the incredible diversity of our students. When I say passionate, I mean we have exceptional educators who are really and truly passionate about educating urban students and believe in the power that education can make in students' lives. Our teachers really thrive on constant learning, and they're always collaborating with colleagues. We're looking for teachers who are really committed and go above and beyond for their students, understanding students' challenges and really embracing their potential. And we seek teachers who are as diverse as our students and are really ready to put our students on the path to college, careers, and a lifetime of learning. As you know, as student teachers have really long-term impacts that go well beyond the classroom. Teachers impact student achievement 2 to 3 times more than any other aspect of schooling. Among all school-related factors, studies show that teachers matter the most. When it comes to student performance on reading and math tests, teachers have 2 to 3 times the effect of any other school factor, and that includes services, facilities, even school leadership. Research also shows us that a teacher's impact on their own class has what they call spillover effects for the entire school. When you as a teacher make an impact on the students within your classroom, those students then go on to raise the level of achievement in their future classes. In a given school year, a teacher can make a huge impact on the students in their class. Students who can read proficiently by the end of 3rd grade are significantly less likely to drop out of high school. And graduating from high school is associated with major life benefits, including increased wealth, health, and likelihood of employment. So as you know, as student teachers, being a teacher, you are able to have just a tremendous impact on students and on your community. And as a full-time teacher, these impacts are really only compounded. I want to talk a bit about the benefits of teaching at New York City Public Schools. First and foremost, you have the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of your fellow New Yorkers, maybe even those in your local community. You get to focus on building a better future. You can use your skills to develop the nation's next leaders and educators. As a teacher, you build relationships with colleagues who are dedicated to a shared goal. And as I said before, you're joining a really robust network of over 70,000 fellow teachers. I want to share as often as possible what our teachers themselves say. So on the left here, we have Sergio, different from the Sergio in your chat. Sergio graduated from Brooklyn College. He teaches middle school English language arts. And here he says, if you're here, it's because you are passionate about education and helping students learn in the most diverse city in the world. On the right, we have Charlene. Charlene teaches science in a high school focused on supporting English language learners and has had the opportunity to support her students during really critical years when they're learning English and preparing for study in the health sciences. And she says, working and living in New York City affords you a range of opportunities you don't see elsewhere. I want to take a moment to play a video so you can hear from one of our teachers directly. One moment here so I can share this. Just a moment here. Okay. Great. We're having some technical difficulties with our video here, so I'm actually just going to move on, but I will share the video in the follow-up email. So apologies for that, but I will make sure you have access to the video in your follow-up email. Great. I want to talk a bit about the salary that you can expect if you join us here at New York City Public Schools. So for those who are starting with a bachelor's degree and no prior teaching experience, they can expect a starting salary of $71,314 a year. For those starting with a master's degree and no prior teaching experience, this is $80,166 per year. So we offer really competitive salaries here at New York City Public Schools. If you scan the QR code on the right, you can get some more information about your starting salary. Here at the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality, we're not able to predict what your starting salary will be based on your specific experience and educational attainment, but you can estimate your salary using the UFT salary schedule that you can access when you scan that QR code. This outlines the opportunities that you may have for salary increases based on whatever prior teaching experience you may have, how long you've been teaching at New York City Public Schools, and any educational credits you may have. All teachers begin at the base salary, and then they can apply for salary steps and salary differentials using the salary application system after they begin teaching. So if you are eligible for a higher salary due to your experience or educational attainment, you will need to apply for a salary step when you begin teaching full-time. You cannot apply before then. If you are a paraprofessional, your years of service do not count toward your teaching salary steps. Or if you have experience as a full-time substitute, your experience does count as full-time teaching. You just have to provide documentation and proof of your full-time work. I like to give a sense of what you can expect your salary to look like down the road with your career at New York City Public Schools. If you're currently in your 8th year of teaching with your master's degree plus 30 credits and some professional development courses, today you would be earning $106,907 a year. If you had 15 years of teaching at New York City Public School with all those same other requirements to your master's degree, those 30 credits and some professional development courses, over $128,000 a year. So using the pay scale for this current school year. So these rates are subject to increase with the yearly raises negotiated in the UFT contract. So this is just what you would be making if you had this experience. This year, it is likely to be higher as those raises get negotiated each year. We have some additional salary resources linked here. Remember, I'll send out the recordings, so if you don't have an opportunity to scan each of these, you will have an opportunity to do so tomorrow with the recording and to access the resources in the email. But these are some great resources if you want to better understand what your salary might be. Now I'll give a sense of the benefits that you can expect as a New York City Public Schools teacher. At New York City Public Schools, we offer a comprehensive health insurance plan, which includes dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Some of the plans require no employee contribution. We also offer annual retention bonuses that are prorated during your first year and increase with each subsequent year. You also are members of the United Federation of Teachers, and you're enrolled in a pension plan. New York City Public Schools employees are eligible for many additional benefits, including commuter benefits, a college savings program, and employee discounts on everything from technology and media to travel and education. In addition, scholarships, financial incentives, and other special programs are available for many employees as well. As a New York City Public Schools teacher, you can potentially take advantage of exciting loan forgiveness programs. You may be eligible as a New York City Public Schools employee for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, or PSLF program. The PSLF program forgives the remaining balance on your direct loans after you've made the equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments under an accepted repayment plan and while you're working full-time for an eligible employer. So this could be an exciting opportunity as well. I want to highlight some of the resources and supports you can expect as a first-year teacher at New York City Public Schools, because our teachers really hit the ground running with resources and learning opportunities that are tailored just for them as first-year teachers. And these are in addition to the many career development opportunities and supports that are available to all teachers regardless of their tenure. Some of these in-person, online, school-based supports include New Teacher Week. New Teacher Week is quite exciting. It's an annual event where new teachers get inspiration from special guest speakers. They learn about key policies that are relevant to their time teaching. They can engage with the UFT, or the United Federation of Teachers, and just have an opportunity to network with fellow teachers who are starting this year. New teachers also benefit from school-based mentoring. Folks who are hired with an initial or Trans B license are all assigned an experienced and trained mentor teacher, and this mentor supports your professional growth throughout your first year of teaching. There's also the First Class newsletter. This is a monthly digital bulletin just for first year teachers, and it spotlights resources, teaching tips, answers common new teacher questions. So it's definitely a great resource to check out during your first year. And as I said, no matter where you are in your career, New York City Public School teachers have access to professional development for any stage of their career. This includes coaching, professional development days, and after-school learning opportunities. In addition to the supports you can expect within your school, there are development opportunities also made available by various teams within New York City Public Schools and the UFT and other organizations as well. There is also a suite of digital resources available to busy teachers with resources for your classroom to help you really stay connected to opportunities and extend your learning and impact. This is just an overview of these resources, but really new teachers have a lot of supports that are designed just for them. I want to highlight some teacher leadership opportunities that you may be able to take advantage of during your time teaching. In your career, you have the opportunity to become a teacher leader. These roles are model teacher, master teacher, and peer collaborative teacher. And by serving in one of these roles, you can earn an additional $20,000 per year. You can scan that QR code to learn more about these opportunities. Also, there's a lot of information on our website, teachnyc.net. So I definitely recommend going there if you're interested in learning more. Being one of these teacher leaders may include leading a laboratory classroom, facilitating professional collaboration, coaching peers and colleagues, and advocating in leadership conversations. So these are some really exciting opportunities that you may have in your career. I want to transition to talking about the New York City Public Schools Student Teacher Program. I'll talk a bit about the benefits that you can expect as a student teacher, events and workshops that you want to make sure you're taking advantage of, like the one that you're attending today, and then how to make sure that you're on the list to get to be notified of all of the opportunities that are available to you. The New York City Public Schools Student Teacher Program is hosted in collaboration with schools, universities, and principals who are looking to hire new talent, and it really provides our student teachers with a wide range of exclusive resources, career opportunities, and PD that's tailored to their journey. These resources include personalized mentorship. If you're just doing your student teaching now, you already did your student teaching, or maybe you're planning to do your student teaching at New York City Public Schools, you will be assigned a personalized mentor who is selected by both the principal and your college or university. As exemplary educators, they have undergone training to supervise your student teaching experience and really guide you through the practical challenges of student teaching and help enhance your learning. We offer information sessions like the one that you're attending right now, designed for student teachers to help give you insight into the certification and hiring process and share best practices and tips for success that can really help you stand out in your application and job search process. There are also professional development opportunities tailored to student teachers where you can engage in professional learning that helps you bridge your student teaching experience with New York City Public Schools key instructional priorities. There's also a monthly student teacher newsletter, and this can help you stay informed with updates, tips, and opportunities within New York City Public Schools as a whole, and opportunities that are tailored exclusively to student teachers. As a student teacher, you also benefit from early commitment support. We are always seeking to support our student teachers with connecting with hiring managers in priority districts as early as March to get ahead in the job search. So if you're not applying for a position for this upcoming school year, but are planning to graduate later, definitely make sure that you're getting on our list early, you're subscribing so that you're taking advantage of these early commitment opportunities. We also offer informational webinars that are really tailored at teaching effective networking, interview skills, navigating the job search process, and gaining valuable insights into how you can research schools, craft a standout teacher resume, and track your progress towards certification. Make sure you're scanning this QR code to make sure that you're on the list to be notified of all these events and opportunities if you have not already. I highlighted a lot of the events and opportunities you can expect to benefit from as a student teacher. Just make sure that you are registered. I shared that QR code on the prior slide. I'll share it again on a later slide so that you're being notified about all the upcoming events. Every year we survey our student teachers, and in last year's survey, our student teachers shared some really great feedback about their experience doing their student teaching in New York City Public Schools classrooms. One said, "I really feel that student teaching has prepared me to be a better teacher." Another said, "Student teaching made me want to be a part of the school community." A third said, "I had space to explore, try new things, and find my way as the teacher I want to be." We really want to make sure that our student teachers have the supports and resources that they need to secure full-time employment at New York City Public Schools once they graduate. We know they want to continue building on their student teaching experience. We want them to have that opportunity. So we want to make sure that anyone on this call who's eligible to apply to teach in September has the resources they need to do so. And if you're not eligible for this year, that when that application opens in January, you're ready to apply right away, take advantage of the early hiring and networking opportunities to get a position after you graduate. In the survey, we found 50% of student teachers accept full-time jobs in the district where they taught. This is really meaningful. For those who value connection, purpose, and the joy of helping others reach their potential, teaching is not just a job, it's a calling. And that's a quote from a first-year teacher from 2024. If you are student teaching at New York City Public Schools this year, not just fall, we want to hear about your experience. So make sure you are scanning this QR code. Again, we'll share this later as well to share your feedback with us. If you want to learn more about the benefits of the student teacher program, we have a QR code on the left. Again, all this information is on our website, teachnyc.net. And then on the right here, we have the form for you to make sure you're on the list and you're being notified of all the different opportunities that are available for student teachers. So take a moment and make sure you're on that list. That form to let us know you're a student teacher is also linked on our website. So if you go to teachnyc.net and you go to our page for student teachers, you'll see that there as well. I guarantee you every resource that I share with you today is highlighted on teachnyc.net, which is why I share that right up front. That is the go-to resource. I'm going to shift a little bit now to talk about the application process. I'll talk through how to apply, give you a sense of the application timeline and the upcoming deadlines. All teachers at New York City Public Schools must hold a valid teaching certificate from the New York State Education Department. This is a requirement for a permanent teaching position at a New York City Public Schools. Most of our applicants have already earned their certification, or they will have it by the time they plan to begin full-time teaching. If you are currently in a teacher preparation program or you hold a teaching certificate in another state, you must apply for New York State certification at nyced.gov. Most of you, I assume, are either enrolled in teacher preparation programs or you recently graduated from a teacher preparation program. So you should submit your New York City teacher application while you are completing your certification requirements or while you're waiting for your certification. This is a common misconception. You do not need to wait until your certification is finalized in order to apply. So make sure you're applying in advance of actually getting that certification. I want to share internship certification opportunities. If you are not graduating this year, you could still start teaching before you graduate if you secure an internship certification. An internship certificate is a 2-year certificate that's available to students who have completed at least 50% of a graduate program that leads to an initial certificate. We offer these to help meet immediate needs across New York City, and it provides the opportunity for you to get hands-on teaching experience while you're still finishing your degree and your cert requirements. It's just an amazing opportunity for you to earn a full-time teaching salary while you're still in school. How do you get it? Well, you can complete the New York City Public Schools teacher application, and you'll just have to upload a letter from your university about your internship certification eligibility as part of the application. So if you're not graduating this year, you may want to consider an internship certification. Everyone who is interested in teaching for the upcoming school year must complete the New York City teacher application on teachnyc.net. This is one application that opens the door to 1,600 schools. When you're applying to teach at New York City Public Schools, you should think of several important action steps. Oftentimes, teacher candidates want to know, should I wait to be certified before I apply? As I said before, you should absolutely apply before your certification is issued. Applying before you're certified is recommended and expected, so definitely don't wait. You will get your certification through the New York State Education Department. That is, it's really important to note that NYCED, or the New York State Education Department, is a completely separate entity from New York City Public Schools. So NYCED is the main entity that will issue your certification. In short, if NYCED says you're certified, then you're ready to be hired under your certification. So you want to make sure you're working closely with your college university certification office to ensure that you complete all the certification requirements. Certifications are issued on a rolling basis. So the faster you're certified, the easier it is for you to get hired. So make sure that you're taking all the necessary steps to do that. We have a very exciting early commitment program. Folks who commit to teaching in schools early are eligible for these stipends. On the left here, we have the districts that are eligible and the stipend amounts. This year, these stipend amounts are available to folks across subject areas, but you would really need to submit your application and get a job offer in very short order. So make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do to apply if you want to take advantage of these opportunities. Our next deadline is on June 25th, so you're going to want to make sure you're submitting by June 25th. That's our summer hiring deadline. Most of the hiring happens over the summer. When you're ready to start your application, you're going to go to teachnyc.net, and then you'll see this Apply Now button is in green next to the certified teacher application. You'll click Apply Today at the top of the screen, and then you'll click Apply Now. So again, our deadline is coming up at the end of this month, so make sure you're starting that application and getting it submitted. To give you a sense of what hiring looked like last year, I want to share some stats from our past hiring season. So first, close to 30% of our applications were started before March. So if you are not eligible this year, make sure next year you're starting your application as early as you can. Over 40% of hires were completed before July 15th. So this is a great reason for you to submit your application before this June deadline. Make sure that you're ready because a lot of hiring is happening over the summer. You don't want to miss out on networking events and hiring opportunities. It took folks an average of 8 days to submit their applications between the time that they started and submitted. So definitely start that application, start that process so that you're not overly rushed to submit before the deadline at the end of this month. There's an average of 83 days before your application submission and your hire date. So again, if you think about a lot of hiring happening this summer, you want to make sure you're submitting as soon as possible so that you're able to take advantage of that, get your application submitted, and get hired this summer. Many of you are likely recent graduates. We have a resource here that's designed for you to talk you through the steps to get hired. We'll share this resource. Again, this QR code looks a little fuzzy here, but I'll make sure that it's in the follow-up email so that you can take a look at the steps. On this slide, we have an overview of the application process. All the way on the left here, we have complete the common profile. I will cover these in more detail in the coming slides, but the common profile is really just basic information on you. Second, you will complete the New York City Public Schools teacher application. This is where we really get into the weeds on your certification, and I'll talk more about what this section looks like. Then New York City Public Schools reviews your application, and if your application is approved, you're then entered into the new teacher finder. This is the system within which you can see other schools, positions that are posted, principals can see your resume, they can reach out to you. So this is a really key step for you to start finding your home at New York City Public Schools. And there are lots of job search supports available to you that I'll highlight as well. So first I'll talk through some of the elements of the applicant profile. As I said, there are two different parts of the application. It's helpful to repeat this. The first part is this profile, and the second part is the teacher application. And you have to make sure you complete both sections to complete your application. As part of your profile, this first section asks about your work eligibility and just some basic account info. So you'll be asked for basic contact information. You'll be asked a few questions on your work eligibility. To be eligible to work in New York City, you must meet citizenship and/or residency requirements. You really have to complete all parts of the eligibility question, especially if you answered yes to the work authorization status question, and make sure you indicate your specific work authorization status. It's worth noting if you do not disclose your work authorization status, your application will not move forward. So this is very important. Secondly, you will be asked about your education. You will enter your education history for high school and post-secondary education. Candidates who hold advanced or multiple degrees have to first enter their undergraduate degree information before they enter any advanced degrees. Then you'll be asked about your experience in references. The work experience information that you enter in this section can be used to help inform your starting salary. So for this reason, you want to make sure that the information that you input here is really accurate. That's very important. You'll be asked for some additional information. You can add your resume in this section. I'll note your attachment can't exceed 1 megabyte in size, so be careful of that. We encourage you to upload your resume as a PDF to preserve the formatting on your resume. As you progress through the teacher application, you can customize your resume once you complete your profile. So when you go to apply for specific positions, if you want to adapt your resume, you will be able to do that. Lastly, you will have to read through the disclaimer and release statement and acknowledge submission of the information into the application system. The next part is your New York City teacher application. Your responses to these parts of the application can affect your engagement with our office. So for example, if you identify, you want to be really careful that you're being super accurate here. I'm going to give an overview of the main items that are required for the application. Firstly, you will have to submit your certification documentation, so proof of your certification or a letter from a university stating you're on your way to be certified by September. There is a whole page on our website. There is an on track page. I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but if you are on track to be certified by September, regardless of if you're currently in a teacher preparation program or you're a recent graduate, you will need to submit an on-track letter. We have templates on our website, and I'll share a little bit later that you can use for this, but you will have to submit either proof of your certification or an on-track letter as part of your application. You will also submit a resume and information about your work history. You'll submit information about your academic history, and you'll share some professional references. Some additional components include a common core aligned lesson plan and a personal statement. So we're really looking for evidence that demonstrates you're a polished professional who has thoughtfully submitted an application to New York City Public Schools. As part of the application, you will specify your preferences. In the job search profile of the application, there are multiple questions that allow you to specify preference for grade level, borough, and program type. For grade level, you can select your grade level preference. This preference should certainly match your certification area, so make sure you're not selecting a preference for a grade level that you are not certified to teach. You'll also have the opportunity to express a borough preference. You can indicate locations where you'd be most interested in finding a job. As you might know, New York City Public Schools is the largest school district in the country, so we operate over 1,600 schools in the 5 boroughs. Understanding your preferences in terms of where you'd like to work is certainly important in this context. So the first question looks at your top 3 borough preferences. If you're only willing to accept a position in 1 or 2 boroughs, please mark those 1 or 2 boroughs in the first and second preference sessions. And please mark no preference for the 3rd option. It's important to note you can revisit this section of the application as often as you'd like if your circumstances change throughout the hiring season. So you can adjust preferences that you've shared. You also have an opportunity to express preference in working in District 75. District 75 is a non-geographic district that provides quality and rigorous individualized educational programming to students with significant challenges. If you are in an eligible certification area, your resume may be shared with District 75 schools in the geographic regions that you've specified. You can also indicate interest in working with District 75 to help those principals focus on your application. So if you are interested, make sure that you're specifying that preference. Here we'll get into the nitty-gritty of teacher certification. For each certification or extension you hold, you will be asked to input the following information. You'll be asked to provide your certification status, your certification type, your subject area, your grade level, the cert issue date or the expected issue date, and your educational pathway to certification. So did you attend a traditional teacher training program? Did you participate in New York City Teaching Fellows, etc.? For most of you, likely you attended a traditional teacher preparation program, so you would mark as such. It's important to note that you will have to enter all of that information for every certification and extension that you hold. I spoke a little bit earlier about how to show proof of your certification. One of the most common reasons why teacher candidates' applications get held up during the review process is that they do not upload the correct or current supporting documentation showing they're certified and or on track to be certified. If you hold a New York State teacher certification already, you will need to submit an electronic copy of your current unexpired teacher certificate, or you'll have to submit a screenshot of your Teach account showing your current active New York State certification. If you're on track to receive your New York State certification by September, then you must submit an on-track letter completed by your college or university. If you scan the QR code, we have a sample of one of these letters. We have one for current students and another for alumni. If you go to our website, again, teachnyc.net, we have a whole page for students who are on track to be certified for them to access these templates and know exactly what they need to submit. So this may be relevant to many of you. You can submit your application right now, even if you're not certified, if you get one of these on-track letters. So make sure you're having the conversations at your school to get that if you need it. Here we have an overview of the application timeline. The application typically opens in January and then remains open through the summer. We have a lot of mid-year hiring that takes place during the early winter months, and then principals begin hiring and interviewing for the following school year. Early commitment, I talked about a little bit earlier. It's an initiative for candidates who are certified in high-need subject areas to be able to accept positions in certain districts prior to budgets being released. This year, it was available to candidates across all subject areas, not just subject areas, so that is really exciting. So definitely submit your application as early as possible if you want the opportunity to take advantage of those stipends. And those stipends are available to anyone who accepts an early commitment before June 16th. Then peak hiring is June through August. So we're definitely in that window right now. So definitely make sure you're submitting your application to take advantage of this peak hiring season. Great. To sum everything up, in order to be eligible to teach at New York City Public Schools, you must first be certified. So you complete the requirements and apply for a New York State teaching certificate. Again, you apply with NYC or the New York State Education Department. Then you submit a New York City teacher application at teachnyc.net. Remember, you do not have to wait for your certification to apply. You can do these two things concurrently. And finally, then you find your position. You conduct outreach and start networking, which I'll speak to in the next section here. Finding your fit. I'll talk a bit about the high need subject areas that we're seeing right now at New York City Public Schools, what you can do to find the right position, and I'll give you a little overview of the new teacher finder, which is your best friend in your job search. One way you can promote success in your job search is really by considering districts, neighborhoods, schools, where your talents are most needed. If you're certified in high demand subject areas, really this is especially true. If you're determined to work here, you should be thinking strategically about where you're looking for a position. If you want to go where the jobs are, you should consider teaching in the Bronx and Brooklyn. This year, 52% of our new hires occurred in these in these two boroughs. So it's important that you find a school that's the right fit for you, but make sure you're not excluding schools because they're slightly out of your comfort zone or they're in a different borough from where you live. Almost all of our schools are easily accessible by public transportation, and we have students who need great teachers in all 5 boroughs. So we encourage you to think about where the need is. Right now we have some subject areas that are particularly high need. While we hire across all certification areas and backgrounds, I do want to make sure that we highlight the current hiring priorities that we have in New York City Public Schools. These priorities can certainly shift from year to year based on the needs of our schools. If you're not yet certified or you're considering adding an extension, these are the areas where principals will be hiring and where there's a high demand for teachers to be certified. These areas are special education, science, mathematics, career and technical education, world languages, bilingual education, English as a new language. I'll share a bit now about our early childhood settings. We have a number of different types of early childhood settings in New York City Public Schools. New York City Public Schools has made it a priority over the past several years to make sure that we're providing high quality early childhood programming for all New Yorkers. So with that goal in mind, our pre-K initiative is currently servicing all 32 districts and supporting 40,000 students. If you're interested in early childhood education, you can work in one of 4 of these early childhood settings: district schools, pre-K centers, charter schools, or community-based organizations known as CBOs. You can see the 4 settings are represented on this My Schools map. This is a free online resource for all prospective teachers. So if you go to, this is a resource you may want to take advantage of if you scan that QR code. The different settings are represented on the map by different colored hands, which you can see on the right side of the screen here. We have district schools and pre-K centers, the light blue and dark blue hands. District programs are early childhood classrooms that are located in district elementary schools. There are about over 700 of them across New York City. These pre-K centers are standalone buildings that only offer 3K and pre-K classrooms. So if you work in one of these sites, you're an employee of the City of New York. The green hands represent charter schools. New York City Public Schools works with about 15 to 20 charters in New York City that offer early childhood programming. These schools typically have their own HR and hiring practices, but this is an option for you as a teacher candidate as well. And the orange hands represent community-based organizations, or CBOs. These are independent organizations that contract with New York City Public Schools to provide free early childhood programs. There are over 1,200 of these across New York City. Each of these CBOs employs its own teachers. They are not employees of the City of New York. As a teacher candidate, it's important to understand the benefits of CBOs. One thing that sets them apart, they're 100% focused on early childhood education. All the activities, the classroom layout, the professional development for teachers, family and community programming are all done with young children. They're really known for their small size, family feel, being really connected to communities. So this allows for a really supportive environment that can be valuable to a new teacher. It also just really allows you to establish strong relationships with families right from the start. Because there are so many CBOs across the city, they really vary in size, location, mission. Some are run by nonprofits, others nursery schools or daycare centers. This allows you to tailor your job search and find a position that meets your educational philosophy and your teaching need. If you are interested in working in CBOs, make sure to reply yes to CBOs on your application. If you click yes, hundreds of hiring managers will then have access to your resume and you can view positions on the early childhood job board. So if you are interested, make sure you click yes on your application when you're asked that question. Here we have some tips to help you find the right position for you. First and foremost, you're going to want to make sure you're researching schools online. You want to conduct your own research and your own outreach. We find that candidates are most successful when they reach out to the school directly, not just through the new teacher finder. You want to make sure you're using the new teacher finder and other job boards to support your job search. I'll talk about the new teacher finder in a moment here. Make sure that you're networking with your colleagues, professors, and friends to learn about all the opportunities that might be available. And New York City Public Schools is hosting networking events that you want to make sure you're taking advantage of. The sooner that you submit your application, the sooner you'll be invited to those events. As I said, the summer is our peak hiring time, so you don't want to miss those networking events. Make sure you get your application submitted. As student teachers, you have relationships that can support your job search. You're really in a unique position in terms of networking because you're already on the ground in our schools. So here we have several ways you can leverage these relationships to support your job search. Make sure you're asking the principal of your placement school if they have any vacancies coming up for the fall. You can also connect with teachers at your placement school about the networks they may have. Ask your field supervisor about any district connections that they have, any vacancies they're aware of, and connect with your fellow classmates, fellow student teachers about their student teaching experiences and opportunities they may have at their placement schools. By registering for the student teacher program, you have access to career and professional development opportunities that are exclusive to student teachers. So make sure you're on our list of student teachers, you're submitting your application so you can take advantage of these job search supports. I've been mentioning the new teacher finder, and as I said, it's your best friend in your job search. Once you submit a high quality application to New York City Public Schools, you will gain access to the new teacher finder. You will be able to log in and use the new teacher finder in a few ways. Firstly, your application will become viewable to principals and recruiters. Secondly, you'll be able to search for teaching positions. It's important to know that not all principals list positions in the NTF, but many do. And this will give you a sense of what's out there. Even though a principal might not post a position, they might be looking and reviewing resumes on the new teacher finder to see if they can find candidates that would be a good fit. So you really want to make sure that you're in that system. If you are certified in a high needs subject area, you may receive invitations to sponsored recruitment events during the spring and summer. And folks are getting invited from the NTF. So you want to make sure that you're submitting your application and getting in there. It's important to note not all candidates are invited to all events online or in person. So you want to make sure you're submitting the strongest possible application to be considered for those events. This is a screenshot of the new teacher finder here on the screen. After selecting search all positions on the left panel, you are then able to filter for position type, your preferred borough, grade level, and subject area. Principals enter their vacancies into the NTF, and while you can express interest via the NTF system, you should also make sure you're emailing principals directly. You can also use the Find a School tool. This is a great way to get more information on schools you might be interested in. You can search for schools by name, borough, or grade level to help you narrow down your options. You'll want to remember that the tool lists every school in our system, not just those with openings. So once you've identified schools that interest you, you'll need to contact them directly to see if they have any availability. This is an example of what it looks like when you click on an individual school's name. It has a wealth of information. You can go to the school's website. You can see data about their grade levels, enrollment, districts. You can click on school quality to see some links to school quality guides and reports on that school. And you can click on reports to get some additional information about the school program, their finances, and more. Make sure to stand out virtually. You're including letters of recommendation. You have a strong cover letter. You're sharing a demo lesson, and that you're building out a strong portfolio. Note that your demo lesson should be uploaded to an online platform like Google or Dropbox. Then you can include the link in your portfolio. I'm going to transition here to next steps and questions. We always want to highlight our online support center. Our online support center has hundreds of articles that really answer every question you could possibly have about the application and hiring process. If for some reason you're not able to find the answer to your question, or you have a question that's really specific to you, you can use the Contact Us button, where you can submit your questions to the help desk and get a personalized response. Make sure you're following us on social media and that you're being a part of the conversation. Last season, we reached millions of prospective and current teachers through our posts, so make sure you're following and tagging us. Particularly check us out on YouTube. We put all of our information sessions, we spotlight teachers, so this is a really great resource to check out. And last plug to subscribe. I will share in the chat again here the link to the subscribe form. That's the best way to stay up to date. We're out of time here for questions, but I want to just thank you all for your time today. Again, we'll follow up with the recording and the resources in a follow-up email. So thank you so much for being here with us, and have a nice night.